morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nayla Navarra,
And I'm Ariana Nelson.
and our presentation is about gender difference pertaining optical illusions. Art is not what you see, but what you make others see. This is a quote from Edgar Degas. What is an optical illusion? Optical illusions are fascinating artwork, but they leave us with a big concern. Did we see what we were supposed to see? Or did we see what others wanted us to see? I know you guys noticed this. Emily. That is actually two people over here. Here's the head of the first one. The head of the other one.
To recognize an optical illusion, there are several different ways to do so. But optical illusions are normally, they have like only a couple images that you can see. So when we were doing our experiment, we only tested for mainly the three main things. One, the first image that can be seen. Two, the frequency in which the image was seen. And three, the order in which they were seen.
That's another optical illusion.
Here is another optical illusion. I invite you to try to see which one is the young woman and which one is the old maid. Old maid. As you can see, if you look from here, you see a young woman. She's looking away and this is her eye. But if you look at the bigger picture, you'll see an old maid and this is her lips.
I still can't see.
Can some of you not see it? If some of you can't see it,
I can't see the old maid.
this is exactly what we were testing. If you can see it and if you couldn't see it. Our brains are always processing information. For this particular reason, we are sort of special from computers since we can see images and sort of pick out two different things. Where in computers, they can only pretty much see the original image. The original image being the image that the artist or the painter decided to put as like the whole, and then the optical illusion would be what else we can see in it. Like humans have this special like way of seeing faces in places where faces aren't in it, like mountains and rocks, because we see faces majority of the time throughout our lives. We see our own face, we see other people's faces, we get used to it. So we can pick out structures within other images.
Also, according with Bayesian RX blog article, it says optical illusions occur as a result of how information is received through the eyes and how that information is interpreted in the brains. And what also we call it is when the eyes and the brain don't agree.
Within our test, we tested one type of optical illusion, being binocular vision optical illusions. That's basically when you see depth when there isn't depth there. There are 8 different types, but mainly we tested monocular vision. So, men versus women.
Is there a factor?
Yes. This is what we were trying to test. Our hypothesis was that women, if we showed 10 females and 10 males optical illusions, women will be more susceptible to seeing more optical illusions, as in all the images presented, and like several different types in different ways as well. And that's basically what we thought.
Here's our first image. That's a little survey. As we can see, there's a floor right here, and there's a balcony over there. Can you guys see it?
Within this image, mainly both the floor and the balcony, as men were most likely they just see the balcony or they'll just see the floor.
Our second image. In this image, we have a lot of pictures. First, we can, like if you guys can see, there's a big face over here. There's a face over here. And there's a person over here. Weird person.
And then there's the original image as a whole as being the man with the flute and the woman in the background sitting on rocks. No one was really able to see the tree face, just the tree face, and no one was just able to see just the face. So they'd be able to see the original image, just that, or more. That's why this is 2. That means that they saw the tree face and a normal face, not just one of these singular.
Our third image is the picture showing people ice skating, but the people are also stars, and just know it's also clouds.
In this image, the women were primarily the ones that saw both sides. As some people, they would see stars, but they wouldn't just like relegate it to being ice skaters. They'd just be like, oh, it's just a normal image. This one is graffiti art in a subway. It's basically stairs that look like they're floating. People often trip in this subway. It's not the best place to be some of the time. But mainly the girls were able to recognize that this was just graffiti art, but they could also recognize that it's floating stairs. So there's a 50-50 chance that they fall.
The fifth image is a woman and formed with rocks.
This is the hair.
Supposed.
And the men were most likely to see both the rocks as a whole.
Image number 6, as we can see, the bubbles and the sink form an eye, but it's also a sink draining, so as a whole, girls were able to see both of the pictures, and guys only got to see one saw just an eye and 2 saw the water draining only.
This one's a more popular one, so this one, some of the errors that we may have had is a couple have seen some of these optical illusions before. It wasn't a majority of the factor, probably like 1 or 2 of them could see a couple. So it could have skewed our results, but it didn't really. This one is like, it's either a floor or it's a balcony. Is the man looking down or are we looking up at the man? The original image in this one is that it's a man looking down, really. So you could see both, and majority of the time the males were able to see it.
The 8th image is the picture where Santa has his toy bag, but it also looks like a school. So majority of the girls saw both pictures, and yeah.
In this image, you see a man going to jump into a floor, basically. It's a floor that's painted to look like a waterfall and a river, and this man is just there for prop's sake. But this is really just the floor that was just painted. Majority of the time, the males saw both. For the river, like, there was the same amount of females and males that could see just the river.
Image number 10 was village that also forms a face.
Right there. The whole entire image is a village, and if you see this face, you see that that's a face. One person even calls it the master face. I'm not sure
dealt with a lot of people who were just confused, and it was kind of funny because they were like, what is this? Is this it? And it was just funny. But if we could do something else to make this project better, or in the future do one similar to it, something that we would do is have more participants, have more difficult optical illusions, and also take the age ranges.
Yeah. Another problem that we ran into a lot was just the fact that they kept asking us, what do you mean by this image? And for this particular experiment, you have to be pretty vague, so then you won't tip them off to which they would see and skew the results. So what we basically did was just be very descriptive, don't erase anything that you write, and just write what you see. And that's pretty much how it went, and our results came from that. We sort of got 5 males and 5 females that these pictures, they saw a majority of it, so it ended up being the same amount of people that would see majorities of these images. So our results were sort of inconclusive. It wasn't that we were right, but it wasn't that we were wrong. So a bigger test group would probably be more opportune and a better way to try to test this, as well as just probably being more specific in a way in which they could understand what they were supposed to write. Vivian? Well, we had a male on our research team. His name was Christian Castro, but he had to leave because his family was ill, so he couldn't participate in this experiment the whole way through. Yeah.
I have a question about the graphs and tables that you use. Can you go back to the group question, please? So, like for this one, I was just confused as to like the graph because it's like a bar graph, and I just don't see how the base of the there was absolutely like no boys graph facing the village, but somehow they're. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Oh, well, the boys bar graph is just like none of the boys saw just the village, and none of the boys just saw the face. All the boys in this one saw both, so that's 10 guys. This axis is for the amount of people that saw, and this one are just the images itself. The colors are coordinated to which gender it is, so at this one, only guys, so we tested 10, so only guys were able to see both of these images.
Gotcha.
And the girls were just, they could see only color. Good.
I thought you said you used only 5 guys and 5 girls.
No, for the images, so like this one is blue, this one's blue, and this one's green. So that was something I sort of did. But the girls, when they won, they saw both majority of the time, then that means that they sort of got that picture to themselves. And that means that the girls could see more in this picture than the guys. So basically, there were 5 pictures that the girls can see the most, 5 pictures that the guys can see the most. And that sort of made our results inconclusive because we saw the girls would see more than the guys.
Did you have like a specific amount of time that you let them look at each picture, or did they have like as much time as they needed to look at everything?
They took their time, so like we didn't measure like the time in minutes or seconds, so you can see it. So we let them see the picture, analyze it, and wrote down what they thought of it. So
Majority of the time, their times that they took it differed. Some just did it really fast, got it done. Some took their time, but the majority of the time, if they could only see one image, they could only see one image, no matter how long they took it.
Was there a specific age group that you used, like just 14-year-olds or just 17-year-olds, or was it?
No, it wasn't really an age group because we wasn't really testing age. We just randomly selected females and randomly selected males We tried to go all around though. We left our building to go to other buildings to try to get like a variety.
No, this one may not be a specific question. Can you go back to the picture with the tree face, the two different tree faces that you were talking about?
This one. This one?
Did you account for the face that is created by the rocks and the two people?
Oh, when we were doing this, like, we weren't able to see this when we picked our picture. And whenever we tested, no one else could see that either. Only
But
like
you-
one of the
But
teachers.
not the
could.
one that he's sitting on, the mouth is created by the
The whole-
rock,
oh.
the body as the nose.
Yeah, this is just the face itself. When
Okay.
it says face, it means this face. When it says tree face, it means the face in the tree.
Oh.
I thought you guys did a really good job. I really liked your topic. There's actually a lot of research on gender and like visual perception, what we see, what we hear, and so forth. What made you pick the pictures? Like, why those pictures? And do you think your result would change if you use different types of images?
Oh, we tried to use like obscure images. We tried to find images that not a lot of people saw. So like the beginning image was like that chameleon was something not a lot of people saw. But the one afterwards was like something that a lot of people saw. We didn't use those, but it's just like we were trying to get people into it. All of these, majority of these are just ones that no one has really seen before, and that's what we tried to do. Okay.
Did you ask the participants beforehand?
Yes, we have a chart of yes and no. It was in our survey that we did, that if they saw it and if they didn't see it before. About 2 of the images were seen by like 3 different people.
Or did not include it in the?
They weren't included. We tested other people.
So color blindness is more common in men compared to women. Do you know if any of the men you tested were colorblind?
None of the men that we tested were colorblind.
How do you feel that this is relevant to society? I mean, does it have to do with jobs? Does it have to do, I mean, why is this important work?
Well, optical illusions are one of the main concerns of neuroscientists because they're using it as a way that they just found out. They can test schizophrenia with this because schizophrenics, they can't see multiple images. They can only see like the main image and nothing else. So they're starting to applicate it in testing for schizophrenia, which is one of those diseases which you see things that aren't really there and it's sort of hard to test with because you just test with surveys and just like an interview. That's pretty much how you test for schizophrenia. But with this, they found out that you can test for schizophrenia using optical illusions as one of the surefire ways to help. It's not always true, but majority of the time it would be true. And that's pretty much where it is in the science world at the moment.
For your original hypothesis, what made you decide, or what had you thought about, or maybe just from your research, why did you choose that you thought women would see more of the optical images or the hidden images as relative to the men?
When we were doing our research and found other similar experiments to this, majority of the time the females would see more in their images. We used different images from them, of course, but we also found on BBC this news report of a woman. She was confused and she fell because the floor was an optical illusion and she could see both, but she looked up and she tripped and she fell and like she had bruises all over her face and it wasn't clear. So that sort of got us interested in it, and that sort of also persuaded us into using the gender factor.
Here's a question. Are women more, can they see things better because of intuition or is it chemical in the brain?
It's more like how our brains are built differently. Female brains are built like specifically for speed. That's why women tend to have better foresight. Like majority of the time, this is just an overall view, it's not any bias or anything. But our brains are built in shape a bit differently, so we're more built for foresight, and you can see the different routes that outcomes that things would occur.
Is that biological or